Learning to handle disappointment is one of the essentials of a growing up child. If you notice, I'm talking about learning to handle disappointment, not teaching disappointment, because it cannot be taught. We can only facilitate, and it's their own process. They need to come up with their coping mechanism and their coping skills to handle disappointment. That's the first thing we as parents need to do. I've seen parents rushing in to not let their child feel bad, to feel upset, to kind of feel hurt. Let them be with that, and let's understand how as parent we can support them to overcome it rather than not feel it at all. So again, there's an interesting acronym for that. It is READ, R-E-A-D. What does R stand for? So R is to understand again the roles and responsibility that we as the adult in the house have. So when a child is going through disappointment, it is not our role or responsibility to take them out of it. It is our responsibility to support them when they are in it and help them overcome it, and understand what it will take for the child to be able to put in place or take as corrective steps so they don't go through it again. And that's the process that we're going to talk forward. E stands for empathy. Right? Empathy and engagement. Now, there's a very thin difference between sympathy and empathy. Most of the times, because we love our children, we get into the sympathy mode. We feel exactly how they're feeling and we don't want them to feel it. We immediately, take them off it. But the empathy is to understand and be with them and discuss with them, saying, to give you a small example, if a child is saying, I am very bad, I feel hurt, like I'm very, very bad. Most of us will say, no, you're not bad. That's not the right thing to say. In fact, we should be going along with them and saying, oh, so you're feeling bad. What are you feeling bad about? What is it that you think you're bad in? That will encourage the child to dwell deeper, find more things to engage on rather than labeling himself or herself. Because whenever children go through disappointment, they tend to label themselves and stick on to it as their identity. So it's very essential for us to be with them in the communication and help them go deeper and get it into facts and things that are happening around them. When I say engagement, first and the foremost thing is to listen. When the child is disappointed, child is upset or hurt, they're really feeling it, and if they are opening up to talk, they are not here to listen to suggestions and advices, and we rush to do that. The minute a child says, reporting an incident saying, he did that to me, she did that to me, and we're like, don't do that, and we're there to tell them what is right and wrong. Please refrain it, no talking about those things or giving them advice at that moment. We can keep it later. When they are talking, really listen with, you really want to listen to them, and they, the moment they realize that you are there to listen, half the problem is solved. So that's about listening without interruption. The third one, which is the A, is to accept, act, and that too with affection. When there is a disappointed child, it is the right time to pour in all your affection. It could be through a simple touch, it could be your tone, it could be a hug, it could be just sitting with the child or putting them on the lap, or things which make them feel comfortable physically. Second is to act on it, to accept it, and enable the child, get into a dialogue and help them understand, okay, this is what is so. Now what do we do? And let them know that you're there around to be with them. How do you act on it? So ask the child what has happened. Are they okay to talk about it now, or would they want to talk about it later? If they're okay to talk about it now, let them really tell you what really happened. And if there are things which we can change into perspective, just keep it in the mind, we'll do it a little later. The last one is the D, which is again, discuss later. The point is to discuss later when they have calmed down, when they're in a good mood to listen and understand. At that point of time when they're really dealing with it, the D is to defocus. If they are like crying, if they're upset, ask them if they would want to do a puppet with them, or would they want to listen to a story, would they want to go for a walk, go in and watch the stars, could be anything. Defocus them from just exactly getting into the emotional space, but changing their mindset into things which can help them cope up and understand their better things. One of the possible solutions could be to actually, after the child is gone through it, after some time that they've spent, to sit down and reflect with the child through a drawing, or share some moments that we had of disappointment in our childhood. Role modeling and talking about how we dealt it is one of the best solutions that a child can pick up on their own. So when you're talking about saying, see, I also had this thing when I was a child, the child kind of listens saying, what can I also do? The child will never wait for saying, I'm handling a disappointment and somebody needs to come and fix it for me. The moment they realize they are capable of handling their disappointment, we are creating empowered children. So next time a child is handling disempowerment and handling disappointments, let them cope up and be there around to help them do it.